This is my third Bionicle review on this channel, and I figured for today we'll go back to Barb Magna, or not back to, I guess chronologically we're going back to, but we're going to exit the Glatorian universe and go to Barb Magna for this review. This is 2009's Glatorian Legends Stronius. Okay, now first of all, if you're a Transformers fan, you know this guy as the mascot for the MGO316 channel. He pretty much appropriated this as his own thing. Even like hardcore Bionicle fans who will know who Stronius is within Bionicle lore still can't help but see mascot in him because he's had that much of an impact on the internet and YouTube. But anyway, regardless of MGO, actual Stronius here is well, he's a member of the Skrull tribe. He's a, well, not Skrull. He's Skrull as a species, but they're basically make up the Rock tribe. He's an elite member of the tribe, hence why he has armor and overall looks different from the Skrull figure that was released in earlier 2009. As part because he's an elite, and also he's special because he is one of the only Skrull to have a name. Like, this guy is not really like a generic nameless like troop builder set. Stronius is his specific name because he I believe it was he was leading a bunch of Skrull. He wasn't leading, obviously Tumo was leading, but he was working with a whole bunch of tribe, or a whole gang of them, and they were battling off a bunch of Patera, I think is what they were called. And he was able to help defeat them. He played a huge part in defeating them. So as kind of like a reward, not a reward, but yeah, like a reward for helping the Skrull defeat the Patera, he was given the honor of having a name. So yeah, his name is Stronius, and that's really all I know about him. But anyway, look at this set himself. Look at a little close up of his head. You can zoom in on it. Oh, there we go. That is a mean noggin right there. Okay, there we go. Check that out. Very, very menacing. Very brutish. His whole thing is very brutish. He's got two eyes on the side that glow. Well, they don't glow red, but they appear to glow red. Long, keeping in with the Skrull. He does have that long forehead that goes all the way back past the actual head underneath. And he's got these weird teeth that are just really weird. I know, it's Bionicle is really good with creative design. This is why I love the, well, all Bionicle is creative, but this is why I specifically love the, the Glatorian era, because they really did just come up with crazy stuff back then. Actually, no, I'll zoom back in the head because I wanted to show off the, for 2009, the Bionicle franchise they didn't completely ditch masks, but they took a break from masks on Barb Magna to showcase helmets, because it's not the Glatorian universe, they don't really do masks there. This is the Glatorian head, the Glatorian / Agori head. It kind of looks like Iron Man. I remember when it first came out, everyone was nicknamed it the Iron Man head. They don't all look like this. They come in different colors. This is really the most common one you'll see, because this is the most common one that was also used in like Hero Factory, the orange. But they also come in like a blue or like a lime green. Those are the other colors they kind of came in, and they connect on a socket. And they do have connections on the side, but the most commonly it was on the top. And so, on Barb Magna, they wore helmets, not Kanohi masks. So this is Stronius' helmet. It's the kind of elite Skrull helmet. Axle at the top. Plugs right in. And one thing I did know is that the inside interior eyes don't exactly line up with the socket holes on the helmet, so I'm assuming it might be a little hard for him to see, but you know what? Whatever, that's whatever. You can use your imagination. Let's see what else is there. So we'll go over articulation. Articulation is pretty standard. 3 in the legs, 3 in the arms, 2 in the head, because he has an extended neck. So he can look up like this, you know, kind of like Mascot, or down like this and be all scary looking. I guess I'll go over his basic build. He is using the Inika build. That's kind of what it's dubbed, whereas like pretty much every Bionicle set post 2006 uses the same build, where it's like, yeah, use this lower piece, which is almost always the Toa Metru waist piece or pelvis piece that's connected to a larger kind of like upper torso right here through pins, and then there's like an armor add-on, and that's really about it. And everything else is like completely independent, no gear system or anything. Almost universally ball and socket related, which is the most common thing for construction anyway. But you can get really good poses out of him. It is a pretty superior system that pretty much allows anything to happen, so you can do that. He looks pretty cool like that. One thing I will go over though, that is a con, is that he is from 2009, and as anyone knows, as all Bionicle fans who were alive back then, because I was really too young to experience them at the time, but people who were old enough to collect back then can have nightmares of the horror of these socket joints. The ones that were, I'll get that in a minute, the ones that were introduced in 2008, the socket joints were very, you see it's even cracking right now. It's cracking right now. They were very brittle because they were shaven. They were slimmed down, and that made them super brittle. So pretty much every Bionicle set from 2008, 2009, and 2010, and even the first ever Hero Factory sets before CCBS came out, all have that. I don't know why. I don't know why Lego probably did it to save money or to save resources. Maybe they thought they were being environmentally friendly. But from what I hear, yeah, the backlash was almost instant as soon as those like Fantoka sets came out. So the fact that they still continue doing it, even in the Glatorian and Bionicle Stars and Hero Factory 2, yeah, that was a big mess up on Lego's part. So if you have this guy, don't take him apart. Don't take him apart, because if you take these apart and put them back in over and over again, they will break. Within not even like after like the 5th try, after like maybe the 3rd or 2nd try, they will crack and break. So I have him like this. I know for a fact he's built correctly. He is staying like this. I am never taking him apart. He is staying as is, because I don't want this guy to break down. I guess I'll go over stuff like the color scheme. You know, he's a Skrull, so he's pretty much mostly black, but he has accents of darker red. I think it's Metru red as opposed to the set Skrull that came out in the first wave of Glatorians. He was a more brighter Mata red. This is a darker like Metru red for Stronius. And he's got some cool, like these armor pieces right here for his leg. Like this was brand new. This was not, I believe this was not used on the first Skrull set, so that's pretty cool. And so are these shoulder pieces. And the front armor piece was also brand new to Stronius as well. I think so. I don't even know if it was used afterward. Maybe it was. His legs and his arms are using the Vaki limb piece, and his foot here is using a Toa Inika foot, which is fitting since it is pretty much the main Inika build. I'll go over his weapons. The first that we might know is the gigantic club. Oh, another thing, yeah, he is using these new fist pieces that were introduced in 09. See, before this, Bionicle sets usually had like that one, you know, they pretty much always had, get off his foot, they always had this connector piece for the hands. 2009 came around and said, you know what, no, we're going to give them actual fists. They have actual fingers now, so they look more natural, which is pretty cool, but also limits the, because there's only 2 possible connections as opposed to 3 with this, whereas like with this, you can do a lot of crazy stuff with this, alright? With the hand, you can only really do one or two things. Have them in at one of these ports, and like that's about it. And you can't like go around, twist it around, because eventually at one point it will be facing backwards, and it'll look awkward. So that's a downside. As an upside, it does, for display and photographs, it does look better. But there's a lot less it offers a lot less creativity with the builds. But, you know, for Stronius, he holds a bat. That's all you need. Or a giant club that looks like it would just brutally beat your face in the moment you came in contact with it. So it fits in there perfectly. You can swing it, whatever. And then on the other hand, is the Thornax launcher. I'll go to that real quick. This is a Thornax, not to be confused with Thornrax, which is a villain character from Hero Factory. But the Thornax is a spiky fruit that grows on Barra Magna. Yes, this is a fruit. It can be eaten in their universe. Not in real life. Don't actually eat this Lego piece, but it can be eaten in their universe. And apparently it's also explosive, so it's really common for ammo. It depends on how ripe it is or not. But anyway, yeah, he holds it like that, and then there's just these two pieces here that connect into the other parts of his hand. And then you just place it in there. This was the main launcher for 2009. Every single set had this except for the Agori. And you press down on this, and it shoots forward. Will it work this way? Let's see. Yeah, you know, it still works. Even after like 13, 14 years now, still works. See, how long ago was 2009? 14. No, wait, no. Shoot. Yeah, I think it was 14 years that 2009 was, because 2023, yeah, so. After 14 years, it still works. And this, by the way, this design would later be like the main basis for all the Zamor ball launchers in Hero Factory. They all use the same exact style. Just having these two pieces together, you pinch it, and it shoots forward. But Hero Factory use like spheres. Thornax is its own unique design, which I think is really, really cool. One problem with the Thornax, some people, I don't consider this a problem, but some people might consider a problem, is that it breaks the color scheme. I don't care, because you can just remove it like that. Or not display them, but I display them with Thornax in it, because I like to have my sets complete, you know? Or at least as complete as they can be. And one last thing I'll go over, as far as gimmicks, is in the back you had a counter, mine set to 3. Come on, zoom in. Zoom in. There we go. Mine set to 3. I'm gonna set it to 5. This was part of a game that you can play, where you took at least every 2009 set, again, except for the Agori, had these. So you would play a game with another 2009 set, like a Glatorian or maybe a vehicle. You'd shoot the Thornax at each other, and if you hit it or something, or hit the canister, you would lose a point, or your opponent would lose a point, and eventually you get the 3, 2, 1, and if you got to X, not X, the skull right here, then your opponent won. These counters, as far as I know, don't actually appear in like the actual canon. They have no true canon purpose. They only exist in like real life set form. But it does look kind of weird to stick it off his back, you know, since those days are long over. But if you have another set, you know, another 2009 set, you can still play it, you know. There's nothing stopping you. Trying to think what else there is to Stronius. Oh yes, I guess I'll go over some cons. I do dislike how the upper arms here don't have any armor whatsoever. They look very plain and unfinished, but they're not. You have this big armor here that rotates and kind of helps to cover it. I mean, which is okay, you know. I wish it was a little better. A lot of people in the fandom dislike how his this armor piece is so low, but I don't mind. Again, it grows on you. You don't really care. The head hides it perfectly, and he is using a Toa Metru lower limb piece or lower arm piece for his neck joint. So anyway, that pretty much is Stronius. I try and think what else there is to him. There's not. He's a really great set, you know? I kind of dig his hulky appearance. I think he's pretty cool canon-wise, how he was a special elite that was honored the privilege of having a name after helping his tribe. I love the color scheme. He has some really good pieces for mocking. Not the limb, not the sockets, of course, but like this armor piece and his head and these front pieces here. These front leg armor. That's really cool for mocking. I think he's a worthy set to get in your collection. And yeah, I definitely like Stronius. And he's an example of why. I think 2009 might be my favorite year of Bionicle. And as blasphemous as it sounds, they got really creative with their stuff that year.